Hi, I'm Lanny Leach. I'm going to present a video series about Colt Starting and Horsemanship Academy. It's something that I've been thinking about for several years. I started riding a horse when I was 2 years old as a rancher son. One of the neat things about my dad is that he always put me on a well-broke horse, a gentle horse, and it just caused me to enjoy a horse even up to today because of his wisdom of how he incorporated a horse in my life. I've been using a horse for ranch work and full-time training now for several years. Started my first colt when I was 13 years old, actually started getting paid for it. Got paid $50 a month. It hardly paid for the feed bill, but that's where I started. And at 63 now, I got almost 50 years of training under me on that part. Now I'm starting to share my technique on how to help people colt start and to keep from getting hurt themselves and or the horses that they're training. I have with me today Sean Giblin from California, and I'm going to let him share his story on how he contacted me, heard about me, and his story about wanting to learn on starting a colt and work on his horsemanship also. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here. So, my story, my background is horses have always been in my life, especially when I was younger. I grew up in England, and my granddad would take me to the racetrack, and we'd bet on horses, and I'd hang out in the pub with all the old guys, and I'd run their bets to the bookie shop for them on the horses. And so, the idea of a horse has always kind of been in my mind. Now, I got a little bit away from that, and sort of around the age of 10, 11, I stopped riding, started picking it up again when I was, about 13, and then all of a sudden I was 15 years old, and it was where I lived in California, it just wasn't so great, wasn't so cool to ride horses. I was more interested in girls and sports. But as I got older, I decided I wanted to learn, how to ride a horse again, and I didn't have the benefit of a dad who gave me a nice, good broke horse. I just had the neighbor's pasture and some horse that was there. So me and my buddies would decided, we're going to go ride that horse. And, you can imagine we got bucked off and threw off bareback. And so I didn't really have a good foundation to begin with. And now I started to decide to get into horses again, maybe April of this year. And I went to the local barn and kind of leased a dead broke lesson horse and, trotted along and had fun, but, it wasn't really that exciting. And I met some folks there, and a particular lady who asked me if I've ever heard of, Wild Mustang. And I said, well, not really. I kind of, in the movies, maybe once or twice heard the word Mustang. And she told me, she had a couple Mustangs at her house. These are wild horses that are out on the range, and she has 5 of them, and I should go check them out. And so, because she said I have the strength and the size to maybe handle this one particular big black Mustang she had. So I thought that sounded pretty good. It might be fun. So I went out there and started, playing around with this horse, and you couldn't catch it, couldn't put a halter on it. It took me about, she handed me a halter and said, go ahead and catch him. It took me about an hour and a half to catch this thing. And then once I got it caught, I didn't really know what to do. It kind of looking at me all spooky, and I think I just tired it out. That's the only reason it let me catch it. So, I thought it was cool, and I'd go up there, a couple times, maybe a week, and just catch the horse. That was the thing. And then I thought, I better saddle it. And she said, yeah, he's broke to ride. He's been to a famous horse trainer's clinic. He's been there, and you can saddle him fine. And so I knew no better. I put the saddle on this thing, tightened up that cinch, and he seemed okay. No bridle or anything, just a halter on him, and sat up in the stirrup. I was like, okay, he seems okay. Swung my leg over, and boy, that thing just came undone. I mean, it went ballistic on me. Started bucking, and I'm no bronc rider. I'm basically a mediocre rider at best at this point. And anyway, bucked me off into a fence, and and you know, I'm glad I kept all my teeth. And and she's yelling at me, you know, what are you doing to my horse? Oh my God. And so I thought I better get on again. Can't let, you know, otherwise I always heard it's not good to let them buck you off. You got to get back on. So I got on a second time, and same thing happened again, and it was getting dark, and I kind of said, I've had enough, you know, I'm just going to call it quits for today. So at that point I said, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'd like to kind of get some professional help here. And I just so happened, you know, something about the Mustang I thought was cool, and so I came across a documentary called Unbranded, where these guys graduate college, they ride, you know, get these wild Mustangs, train them up, and ride them, you know, a couple thousand miles across the U.S. And Lanny's name popped up in that movie as one of the folks that actually put the training on these Mustangs, first 30 days on them. And I figured, well, shoot, if that guy can train horses to do that, you know, get them started enough to carry those guys that far, he must know what he's doing, right? So I kind of on a hope and a prayer, I picked up the phone and called the number on his website, and sure enough, there he goes, hello, this is Lanny. And I was kind of shocked, didn't know what to expect, and just shared with him kind of my story, and he laughed a lot, and you know, kind of I told him I need some help, you know, I whatever I'm doing, I don't know, you know, what the right thing is. And he kind of asked me, what do you want to get out of this? And my response was, I want to develop a toolkit so that when I come across a horse that has an issue or I want to train, I know what tool to reach for that specific problem to solve. And you know, so Lanny kind of said, well, you know, let me think about it. I think I might have an idea of how we can work together. And you know, came back and said, sure, come on down. And you know, after a couple conversations we had, kind of feeling me out, seeing how interested I was and what I expected out of it. You know, I wanted, my ask of him was if I could just come and train with him and learn. Right? I'm hungry. I wanted to learn anything and everything that the 50 years he's been doing this that he's learned. So kind of like a sponge, I just wanted to be around him and soak up all that expertise, and you know, just very excited for this opportunity to learn from somebody like Lanny. So I'm grateful to be here, and I'm very excited, and you know, ready to you know, learn how to train a horse properly.